Hello there, and welcome back to Grim Dawn. I'm back on my Vitality caster, and this is Photius, just playing Let's Play through this guy. Our most recent thing that we are after is we have to head to the Vanguard of the Three, because we're looking to finish up the Forgotten Gods expansion here. Still quite a bit to go through, but we'll get there. I actually thought I was recording and was not yet. I was hoping to kind of get a recording in before the night's out. What I was doing, though, was nothing too crazy. I was trying to see if I could farm Benevald out here in Bloodgrove. Not really farming, necessarily. We're just kind of checking the vendor. This is one of the few times that checking vendors can be useful. I was trying to see if I could get a better amulet, because mine is good, but I like the one like this Death Watcher amulet here. I want one like that, but you can see how it compares to the Impervious Gaze of Ungoliax of Butchery, which has great damage, excellent resist. It's going to be hard to beat, but if I can get an Impervious, then I might be okay. So we go up to this guy. He is out here in Bloodgrove. You just go from the portal, go down here. You can walk through this point, and you'll walk up the river right to his place. But basically, I'm just going in his inventory, checking things here. I can also see he has a Decaying Bone Scythe here, which doesn't seem too bad, but it's got attack speed on it, so that's kind of wasted. It says it has more damage because it's actually leveled with me. It's 52, so that's nice. He's getting higher levels, even though I don't think the creatures out here do. So it's really not that bad. Has good damage, good stats. It's probably a bit better than my offhand, especially with the higher conversion, but I lose the cast speed, so it's hard to justify that right now. But we're looking at these, like this one. It's good, it's level 50, but it doesn't have stats I want. This doesn't either. A way that we can kind of mess with the RNG on this, not really, is we could put a portal here and then just kind of check back every couple minutes or so, see what's going on. Now, you can also get recipes from him. Some of these recipes are just little aside items that you can make. You can also buy some nice components from him if you really need one. Also, you can get the Skeleton Key blueprint here if you don't already have it. Nothing really we need from him, so I'll leave a portal here and I'll portal out. We'll head for our next goal, and I'll see if I can portal back. I might forget about this, though, and it's not a big deal if I do. I didn't really find anything. So we're going to jump back out to the Sunbathe Oasis. The only thing we really need to do out here is head on through. We're going to head to the Howling Abyss. Now, one little point here. Alright, you see where these guys are at? Right below them, there's this little grassy area here. You can head back here. Let's see, I'm off the map, so it's one of these hidden areas in Grim Dawn. But, there's like a body, a chest here. Just some things we can find, nothing helpful for me really. But there is this guy. He is a blacksmith up here. He has these neat abilities, which are he can add slow resistance, movement speed, and reflected damage reduction to item. As far as I know, he's the only one that does these. I think there may be one other and I'm missing it. But he is a great one to craft weapons, armor, and accessories from if you need these sort of bonuses. Reflected damage reduction, I have a little bit of that, but it's a good one just to help with reflect mobs. But we would be upgrading out of Gluttony, I think. Let me see here. So we're going to search Vitality damage. See if I can remember which one I'm going for. I feel like we're going maybe Torment into Impurity. So I need Mortality, really? Spectre. Impurity seems right, because that's Necromancer skills. I think that's what I want. And it does this Impure Blast, which is nice little, like, Vitality and Aether damage, converts some things. This is level 60, so I can't use this yet. And we would need the items to craft it. Now, this from my stash, I have plenty, but I only have 5 Ancient Hearts, so I need some more of those. Venom Tip Air ammo is not hard to get. These, I already have some Marks of Dread, I'm pretty sure. I have to look for them. Oh, they're right here. Mark of Dread, great little component. But we need Mortality first, which that we could build, because we have the Tainted Brain Matter for it. We just need to build all these other pieces first. But before that, we need Spectre. Spectre's right here. Spectre I can easily build. So why don't we go ahead and build a Spectre. And let's see. Purified Salt, Haunted Steel. Steel. So the Haunted Steel, I don't know if you'd had this unlocked yet. I think maybe Kaiman's Chosen does provide it. But you need Vengeful Wraith for it, which I don't have many of these. I don't think they're here. I think I would actually have to craft some. And then I need my Chthonic Seals, which I've got 6, so I use half of them for that. And some Polished Noodles. Use Vengeful Wraith. So you look up Wraith. They take Ectoplasm, Aether Crystals, and this. And of those, I am going to be a little shy, probably on the Aether Crystals. I actually don't. Okay, I've got 52. I'm actually okay on that. Shield Still, I should be fine on. Yep. And Ectoplasm, actually have a good bit of that. I would have enough. I need 3 of these for every Vengeful Wraith I make, so I have to make 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got that. And then go back to Mortality, right? Because we're, again, aiming for... Oh, it's not going to show. It's Impurity for the Impure Blast. Yep. And that's just that's just like a trigger ability that can go off with everything else we're doing. So I need these back to Mortality. So I think I have enough. Ah, yeah, that's the rub. Okay. So back to the steel here, the Haunted Steel. So I have these Impure Wraiths, 4 of them, but I need 4 of these. So it's 16 of those. I need 16 of these, which needed other components. I need 3 of these for every one of these I make. Don't have enough. So we're going to stop there. That'll just be something we have for the future as we try to build that, because we want that component. Anyway, he's there, and when you craft accessories and stuff with him, you can get those fairly unique abilities. It's a pretty good one to get. For now, though, we're going to go head through this area. There's a little boss out in this area, too. I believe. I may come across him as I go. Oh, some guys dropped from the sky there. They look a little weird. They dropped right in my view. Clear them out. Bunch of these scorpion guys. Not a problem. So we're just clearing enemies as we go here. The little boss over here, he is good because he can drop a very particular type of item. I think he also has a couple items just from him that he drops. So it's kind of interesting. But he's this dude. Oop, he sundered me. But I did him in. The neat thing about this little Necromancer ability that returns damage, when you're sundered, it kind of like sends more damage back from him. Okay, so he dropped his Sting of Tormented Souls. This thing here gives some interesting bonuses to Righteous Fervor. It's not too crazy of a weapon. It's okay. He also drops another Scorpius Pummeler that has the capability of converting, or it does some conversion with both Summon Blight Fiend and also Summon Briarform from Shaman. So it's a very good summoner tool, especially if you're trying to do like kind of a little acid pet build. Really useful for that. I'm not much into pet builds, but the only one I've been able to really stand was Summon Blight Fiend, where you use this node, and they're kind of like mobile bombs that just run and attack things, and then when they die, they explode and do good damage and stuff. But you can put them with other pets, and it feels a little bit more caster-like, so I'd recommend that if you were like me and don't really care for pet builds. It's about the only one I could personally stand. I just feel like they're too passive it's not actually true. You want to be doing stuff with your pet builds too, because certain skills, Bone Harvest being a good example, actually give a buff to your pets. So being a little bit more active is helpful to them, and also can proc bonuses like Howl Modrigan, for example, just to give them buffs as you go. And like to get the most out of them, you really do want to be a bit more active. And you still have to protect yourself and such. So what we're doing down here in the Howling Chasm is mostly we're just heading through this area. But this area has a little secret area, which we're going to go explore, because we are kind of preemptively going after these seals of Morganeth here. And we want those because it opens up a little secret dungeon. Maybe I can show you guys something later on that's to note about that. It actually is similar to the Benevald thing, where he's in an area that he's not actually leveled. Like, for example, the enemies in the area aren't leveled, but he can still give you leveled items, which is kind of, I thought was interesting. I actually didn't know he would level like that. But while we're down here, there's this little, you can see it off to the side here, little wall right here. So normally, you're going to go up to the star to exit the Howling Chasm. What we're going to do is, open up these bodies, grab their stuff, pull up this wall. We're going through here. This is where the third seal is at. And you can explore it a little. I thought there were some readables over here. Must be further down. So there's a scarab shell. Great little MI item. We head into the Howling Depths. We're going to kill more bugs, more dogs. Nothing crazy. Okay. So this is Tuha's travelogue. That is part of this little kind of side quest describing what they're doing. Basically, they're trying to seal away Morganeth because he is a worshipper of give me a second, I'll bring up his name. I don't remember it, but the thing is on the devotion grid. But there's not a lot of information about the particular entity. So on the devotion grid, it is Yugal. Look at this guy. He has tentacle horror all the way around. Yugal, the insatiable knight. So he is like the opposite of Empyrean. Empyrean was like the light of the universe, so to speak. But he is the dark of the universe. So they worshipped his darkness, and they seem to take some power from the celestial realms as well. So there's that. Or the Eldritch Realm, that's what it's called. But they wanted that guy who was worshiping him sealed away because he was dangerous. And probably at the time there were more followers of Korvac around. So Korvac probably didn't like hearing about this guy either. But I'm pretty sure Korvac is actually afraid of Yugal. I think my suspicion is that when Korvac gets finished and he's like, you have no idea what's coming, he knows Yugal is coming. And that dungeon, like the dungeon we're trying to open up, is kind of a preview of Yugal and his power. Because those celestial creatures that get summoned are some of the worst ones in the game, but they are tentacle monsters. So it just makes me think that it's some type of Eldritch Abomination thing going on. So I had moved off my boots, which lowered my damage a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. It was more of to get some resistances and defenses in better line. Seems to have worked. Powered Falcon Call. I swear, when I'm looking for this item, I can't find it. And when I don't want to find it, I find it all the time. But that is Grim Dawn for you. Alright. On we go. So we cleared that. We're looking for the seal. Here we go. Hello. Big scared guy. Finished him off. Nothing special. More of the dogs. More beetles. Scarabs, I should say. Another log. Don't think he's down here. Nah. There's probably some areas to search down here. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'm going for the main prize. Because we're still in veteran. Things can still be tough. This guy, Halax. Hello, Halax. Let's do this, man. He's got a bit of hit points, doesn't he? He's got his boys he summons. The only problem with his boys is they strip resistances, which probably makes Halax more dangerous. He's not terribly different. He's just a souped up griffin. That's all he is. So just tear him down, kill his boys. Oh, okay, I'm firing into a rock. One of the limitations of this. Guy hits rocks. Third seal. So we got that. So we got the 3 seals that we need. And Eldritch Halberd. Again, it's cool to pick these up. They're good looking things. A Ritual Scepter. Neat. Okay. A ring doesn't have anything we want on it. Sword bones. There's the last of her letters. Hit the chest while you're here. Kill this guy because he's in your way. Alright, we got the seals. So we make our way down and out. I thought there was one more chest in here. Maybe the gold one can appear back here if you haven't gotten it yet. That looks suspicious. No. Alright, we're done. Going back to the cave entrance. And it pops us out here in the Howling Chasm, which was right down there. So yeah, we came out from there. But we still are heading up and out, ultimately. So we gotta kind of go back to where we were. Back through here. And we're gonna get to the Conclave of 3. Again, dogs in your way. Just clear them as you go. Feel free to jump levels, that's why I like the leap. I think the teleports can do that too, but the teleports have quite a bit less range. That's all. Now there is a boss that tends to appear over here. Let's see if we can scare him up. Is he over here? Maybe not. There's another section you can appear in as well. Some griffins. We just fought your big brother, we're not worried about you. Nothing crazy. Head on through. Feel free to go help these guys. You don't get anything special for doing so. I don't think there's any quests in this particular little zone. It's just a kind of side zone that kind of serves as a travel point before the Conclave of 3. We'll look around just a little bit, just in case. Just wanted to see if I could scare up that boss. Nothing yet. Just all this, these big old poison clouds they leave can be bad. Shake James tried the log here. I don't know if I said that right. Kind of just did a quick glance at it. Okay, little shield, I guess. Well, I cleared this. I'm pretty sure. I thought that boss spawned out here all the time, but I guess he doesn't. Watch me stumble upon him now. No? You're up here? No.
I can't do that yet.
Alright, we're here. Sorry, I was saying the Conclave of 3. I meant the Vanguard of 3. So a great place if you'd like to kill yourself is this little place here. You need to have a good regeneration to deal with this. And you're really only gonna... I think you may get something for lower difficulties, but it is part of a secret quest. So.
Elaine was quite with the materials you...
Alright. I'm gonna kill the guardians at the Temple of Ateth.
Yes, traveler.
Gotta go deal with Messenger.
I hear you've done some...
And then this guy. We're gonna go handle a little guy they summoned. A little friend. So the messenger's interesting because you can actually, as part of Kynan's chosen, you can talk to him. I think I may have talked to him already in this playthrough. So he's interesting in that he's basically like part of not part of Kynan, part of Korvac, and signals Korvac's awakening. And is essentially what was left after Korvac, and encourages Kaiman to go get pieces of Korvac and essentially, I wouldn't say resurrect Korvac, kind of reawaken Korvac, because of the whole story with the witch gods. Not too many spoilers about it, but essentially the witch gods decided one day to mess with Korvac, beat him up a little bit, steal his powers, and they split his powers among themselves.
That skill's not ready.
And that is why they are gods now. However, I do wonder if some of the story is heading to the realization that if we stop Korvac, we can stop them. And if they'll try to preemptively stop, our little taken hero from doing anything about them. Because they are kind of a bunch of jerks, but they're kind of protecting people. It's hard to say. I think it's just selfishness upon selfishness, if you ask me. Now, it's not to say our hero is the best or anything, but there's definitely angles of your hero could be, a jerk and wish to do him in. We're going to go ahead and do this. Or your hero could be, a nice hero who's trying to save people and also wishes to do them in because they are going to cause problems. Alright. Looks like we were working through Chariot of the Dead. I am going to hit this node. That offensive abilities can help see me through this. Oh wow, look at the crit. 18% on these guys. Let's see what I got on him. Yeah. Decent little crits. I gotta go clear out these guys. So that's what we'll do. The problem with those guys is they're just so big and it takes a while to kill them. I'm gonna skip that one. Alright, we gotta go get down here and kill the guardians. Interesting enough, in later difficulties, Ultimate specifically, there's a set of bosses that appear down here. And a good reason to take them out is there's a special legendary that drops from them that converts Albert's Aether Ray, is that what it's called? I think so, into pure physical damage, which is pretty interesting because physical is an interesting damage type that has a couple of different things that can stop it, mostly armor. But I mean, if you shred armor, it doesn't stop it too much. And it's not like particularly balanced with the Aether Ray. So it actually does become pretty powerful. And All Blade Soldier Arcanist, which I think is Battle Mage, gets a really like, it tends to be really strong because it's kind of got good damaging abilities mixed with good defense. So quite strong, and can make use of the a portion of the Spell Scourge set. Not specifically for Aether Ray, you wouldn't really want to do it that way, but I mean, it's you've got some options there. It's just interesting having a little offhand that'll help you do that. So these guys are down here. In general, don't fight these three guys at once. However, I think we're going to be fine. Okay, just barely hit him. The problem is you don't want them all shredding your resists and hitting you at the same time. They can do some good damage that way. Yep, and they can stun too, it looks like. Oh man. Doing okay. Clearly not the big griffin is, I believe, he drops the head. And then okay, jump there, there we go. Use this. Some of this guys are gonna fight. No, I think he's on our side. Alright, great. I couldn't remember the quest, like if you fought him or if he was on your side. Ultra awaits another. Okay. I seem to remember there was another quest about the guys in here. But that big guy will help us in this quest later. Spawn of Atef. It's basically like a chaos dude that'll help us out. So we're done with that. And now we grab this and head on through. We're in the Basalt Crags. Up ahead we'll have where we can use the seals. So we'll go that way when we can. Don't know if we'll do that because Morganeth can be kind of dangerous. We'll see. I think with this build and being in, you know, okay, and being in veteran normal, I don't think we'll have any trouble with it. So we may give it a shot after we take out Quarterback. Just see how it goes. They'll let me point out some things. The interesting thing that I actually learned myself about that is there are these certain conduit amulets, and there's a guy in there that sells the blueprints for them. Now, that seems not too important, but you can, the way it's set up, you can reset the vendor, which means if you step out of the room for a couple minutes and come back, his inventory changes, which means that is a viable method to get the conduit recipe you need if you're doing a conduit build. Now, is a conduit build always a good idea? No, probably not. Not always. But it is an idea. And if you want to play the game that way, that's totally fine. Those just have a lot of stats on them. I was like, are these good? No, they're just stat heavy. Stat heavy is not always good in this game. Sometimes stat heavy can mean there's just crap all over the place. Okay, good. I was able to kill him somehow. We're just tearing through these guys. You can explore this area if you like. I think there's a couple of books that explain a little bit more about the whole Korvac stuff. But we're just moving on through. We don't need anything here. We have sufficient life steal that we're doing fine. Good resist, so we're doing fine. That's going to be one thing. I think with this build, I probably said this before, when I get done with Korvac, I might go do that that dungeon and probably be a fair video all on its own, because it can be dangerous and I have to be kind of careful. thing I'd like to do is probably go just step straight into ultimate, which I don't recommend for someone who's new, but I can handle it, and I think it'll be challenging and fun. But I do think I'm going to obey that if my character dies, I'm just going to call it there, and we'll just move on to a different character. I like making characters in the game, so I'll find something new to make. Maybe I'll be inspired by something. In fact, I was actually thinking today, could make an interesting build centered around, like, I made a Bleed Warcry, which if you've seen the Shadow Realm run, you'll know basically how that works. But there's another way of doing it, which I haven't tried, but is viable, I think. And it's going to involve a gun you get from the messenger, which is a quest dude I have to kill. But messenger respawns, so he's one of the quest guys that you get to go back and kill.
Can't do that.
But your character's like, oh no, I killed him, but no, he comes back. And you can kill him and farm him for his item. But it is something that adds, like my bleed build adds a lot of bleeding to Warcry. That is a weapon that uses field command from Soldier to turn physical into fire. So you could have fire cadence that way, but it would be a little scuffed. I'll try to explain that. But you could do kind of a fire cadence if you really want to. Oh, here's these guys. Hello. I fight for common no longer. To do it. Alright. I'm gonna be nice to them since they're kind of my buddies. They're not really. I'm the one who saw the light first and went necromancer. But the way to kind of do cadence with it and maybe get some good burns going. And where I see it's kind of scuffed. What I mean about it is, okay, so bleeding, you can't really add too much good bleeding damage. You can get, like, my bleed build I have, I'll add a lot of flat bleeding damage from various gear and stuff. Try to get as much, like, squeeze as much out of it as possible. But the helmet only does like 50%, so it's not all that much. If you try to do a fire cadence, you need something that either converts cadence 100% to fire, so that it can convert the actual abilities of cadence as well, like the percent damage it gives, things like that. If you don't do that, then it's going to have less, like, bonus damage than it would have just being physical, right? The good thing about it, though, is deadly momentum. You could charge up deadly momentum on enemies. Like, shoot, shoot, shoot until you hit the third proc, and that'll proc deadly momentum, and then you can Warcry and have all that juicy bonus damage just added to the Warcry's fire and burn, which trauma would be converted into burn, and the physical itself added would be converted. And additionally with Oathkeeper, which is probably how I would try to play it, just because of the fire bonuses. With Oathkeeper, you can get the Oathkeeper's ability, Presence of Virtue, I believe, and that has a percentage chance to do like even more of like trauma damage to things. It does trauma and bleeding, so you'd have to hope not for the bleed proc, but if you got the trauma block, it would be burned. So, there's a Scorpius Bludgeon. Wrong type. That's the Blade Arc one. But that would be something you could do to it and kind of make a fire soldier that would just yell at people until they caught on fire. So that's kind of cool. I like the idea of that. Alternatively, there's another build I kind of put together. It's more of what I call an auto damage build. There's a few different ways to do builds where you just walk around and things take damage. And that's it. Like that's the build. They take damage. Fires, not fire, but the kind of main way to build it involves Inquisitor and Nightblade, because Inquisitor and Nightblade both have little auras that do damage around them, right? So that's cool. That's one way to do that. But the problem is, Inquisitors, while it strips elemental resist, it does not, it does fire damage. And the one from Nightblade typically does cold damage, but doesn't strip elemental. It just strips like cold resist. That's the only elemental resist it strips. It strips other resist too. But there are also little components you can get that do damage over time around you. And the aura that's probably smaller than like the one from Nightblade, the aura from them. But that's multiple auras that you can stack up and do damage over time to people. And that just is kind of an interesting way to play the game. Now, there's a method that I know that can be built fairly early and turns that damage to Aether, and then just has a good bit of Aether negative resist that's inflicted on things. And the build wouldn't be too hard to kind of get going. It might need an item to help it along, or two. But additionally, it uses these items that you get pretty early in conflagration, in fact, that will convert everything to Aether for you, like the elemental portions to Aether, and also piercing to Aether, and you can build it with that. It also gives a lot of Aether reduction. So I think I calculated something like 115 to 130% Aether resist reduction. And I thought that was pretty cool. Because the main problem with Aether is like dealing with ethereals, because they don't take much damage from it. There's a Scorpius Pummeler. So you can see this one has like some in Blight Fiend bonuses, some in Briar Form, and some pet bonuses just innate to it. So it's pretty cool. Alright, got those done. We just gotta get rid of Messenger. And I think I'll probably call the video after Messenger, as long as we can go ahead and get a portal that's ahead of him. Should be up here soon. So this is good. We got a quick cast that's still blowing up the little guys at least. So it's handy for that. Get to see these guys quick. Yeah, this is kind of the problem with the ones that have cooldown. You can't spam them like this. You can't just toss them at whatever group. You gotta kind of line guys up, roll them together, and then blow them up. So, I mean, there's a type of young Warcry we can do, or I can get the items together to show you how you would build an auto damage build, and then we can try it out and see what they do. The biggest gripe I have on auto damage builds, they basically do like free damage to everything around you. You don't have to use energy or anything like that. The problem is, they just don't have good damage output. And I think it's because you're free to just run around and don't have to, like, you don't have to exactly fight enemies. You can. There's also an item I might like to make, the kind of whirlwind skill. I have, it's out of Oathkeeper again. My brain keeps saying, Eye of the Storm, Eye of the Storm. No, it's not Eye of the Storm. Anyway, it's Eye of something. And you just basically spin to win with that skill. But there are a couple items you can get. You can dual wield them to spin to win through groups of enemies. The problem with dual wielding them is dual wielding is only enabled by a few things. Alright. I gotta take stock of what's going on here. I think you go further ahead for messenger. That one is tricky because you need Oathkeeper to do the spin to win, but you need either, well, not either, you basically need Nightblade if you're going to dual wield, unless you have particular items. And the particular items you can get suck. Like, they don't fit the build well at all. There's one item that kind of does, but there are just better things you can get. It's kind of sad. So, I haven't really done well with piecing that together. But I think I might show off for the auto damage build, kind of the build game with that. Oh, sorry, I had to pause there for a moment. Oh, these guys want a piece. Let's just tear them up. Alright. But I think I might, with that build, kind of show the build I'm thinking. It's a little bit older. A little bit. I don't think items have changed much since then. But it's one to kind of look at, go over how it works, and show off the ideas. I cannot get through there. Let's go this. Aha, we're heading for messenger now. But show how it works and kind of give the basic idea. Playing it out is a little different because you do need to be able to do damage as you move through things. But if you get kind of the right item at the right time, speeds the build along. I think it'd probably be something similar to this, or kind of jumped ahead just a little bit and came back for Creed. I think I did that in this build. Anyway, here's Messenger. Yeah, he's just a little spirit. Does a lot of damage though. So, coat him with your ability and try to burn him down before he burns you down. And he dropped the Avatar of Mercy. That can be cool. And its repeater. So the repeater has some bonuses to Veil of Shadow. It actually makes Veil of Shadow piercing damage and turns Word of Pain to piercing damage. So this is like another method you could do an auto damage build with, specifically using Veil of Shadow to go into piercing and converting elemental to piercing, both with the gun and that. But elemental converted to piercing is like, it's kind of tricky. This particular gun sucks for it, by the way, because it's got physical, pierce, acid, poison. Like, it's just, you don't really want this. But the like idea of it is fairly sound. And let's see here. Oh, yeah, I got the Avatar of Mercy. So this is a nice, like, resistance with stun, free use, petrify. Very good for kind of hardcore. It has an ability that activates when health drops below 30%. This is pretty solid, especially since it might get you out of stun, freezes, and petrifies, and restores half your health when you're at 30% health. That's pretty crazy. Like, even with the 70-second cooldown, it is pretty useful. Alright, we got our 2 points, and we were trying to get all the offensive ability we could get, so we've got this finally maxed out, and this is getting close. Look how much health that gives. It's fantastic. And so we are well above the health that we need for this level, about 100 per level. So we're above that. And we want to get Pneumatic Burst up next, but it's fine where it's at for now. And then Boner Harvest. I have basically no points in Boner Harvest. We need to get that raised up. This second node is really good too, just for the flat vitality damage, but all that's real good. Things looking solid. Alright. We'll stop here, Messenger's Lair. I'll probably just pick up at the last portal, but I want to get this uploaded before it gets too late. So thank you all, and glad I could be back after vacation, and I hope you all have a good night. Take care.